Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Oh, we can do better than that. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Wonderful, wonderful. Before we begin, if I may, could we all have a moment of silence for Miss Betty Reed Soskin, who's one of our true pioneers from the beautiful city of Richmond, California. Thank you. Bow your head. Kill the music, please. Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm Rodney Alamo Brown, a community advocate here in the city of Richmond, California. And I want to welcome you all to our wonderful forum that we're going to have. We're going to have a nice candidate forum. We're going to have dialogue. We're going to have conversation. We're also going to include the audience. You all have given us some questions that you would like our candidates to answer. And so we'll definitely let them have the floor when that time presents itself. As you all know, this is a very important election that's coming up. The June primaries is vastly approaching, and of course the November general election is looming as well. There's a lot of things that we're going to talk about this evening, as well as the candidates. They're going to discuss some things, and we'll have some rebuttal as well. We'll have some questions that they'll be asked, and the candidates will be able to rebuttal those questions, and we'll do it in a timely manner. And we do all things in decent and in order. So I just want to make sure we point that out. We will not belittle anybody. We will not disrespect anybody. We will do what grown folk do and have a conversation. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce these three important people who put this whole thing together. And I'm very honored that they asked me to be the MC. Brother Patrick, to my esteemed left over there. Give it up for him. And in back of me is Brother Fahim. Let's give it up, folks. And this young lady, please stand, Miss Nadine, is the one who's actually spearheading this whole thing. She's done a wonderful job in getting us together on Zoom calls and things of that magnitude. And so it's been a wonderful thing putting this together, and we want to thank you for all your time and your service. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, Brother Patrick, could you please introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone.
No. Not a good way to
My
start.
voice is carried on. Hello, everyone. My name is Patrick Scott. I'm co-executive director of 1Hundred Enterprise. It's a pleasure and an honor to stand before you. I was born and raised in Oakland, California. Long-term incarcerated. Got out 6 years ago. My whole mission in fight is to give back to the community. I'm a surrogate in Richmond, meaning that everything I do is in Richmond, California. And so this right here, place right here today is a special place for me to be here to work and to galvanize with the people. And it's about community service, right? And here we have all these candidates here today to represent this beautiful city of Richmond, California. My mission is to be here, is to get the best results for the community as I work here in the community to help steer you from making early death decisions. That's 100 years. It's about 3 men who just served long-term incarceration, got out, came back to the city of Richmond, and ever since we got out, we've been serving the community with local events, safe space for men, working inside the juvenile hall, as well as the schools of Greenwood Academy. So our mission is to be here to help steer you from making early death decisions. My name is Patrick Scott. Thank you very much.
So next we'll hear from Brother Fahim.
Good evening, everyone. And again, thank you all for coming today, showing up at CoBiz Richmond. And this is about community. It's about understanding what really needs to be done in Richmond. What happened in Richmond. And we have all these candidates up here, but it ain't about the candidates. It's about the people. What the people want, what the people need, what the people deserve. They've been calling out, they've been crying, and that's what we hear. That's why you here. So your questions will be honest and everything. I'm born and raised in Richmond, California. I was born on 333 Florida Avenue, right down the street in Santa Fe community. My family still got property down there. But I understand what goes on in Richmond. I'm here every day. Every day. I see it. I almost cried when I came off the freeway today. I see the homeless guy on the sidewalk on Barrett. I was upset. I had one of my little kids in my car. right? So those are many of the things that we need changed and fixed out here in Richmond. A lot of things have went on, goes on. Now we want to understand what we're going to do about it. And that's why we got these candidates here. The best voice is going to represent the best purpose and the best mission for you all. Thank you.
Watch out for the puddle.
Oh, water.
I don't know where Miss Nadine went. We wanted to let her have a few words if possible. She went to take care of the spill. So bear with us, everyone. We definitely want to hear her voice and her sentiments when she comes back. But again, we want to thank you all for coming to our forum. And you're going to learn a lot of things. We're going to learn a lot of stuff. And we're going to have, again, a great dialogue and conversation. After Ms. Nadine speaks, we'll go over the rules and the format of how we're going to conduct this. So Ms. Nadine, can you come forward, please? Thank you. Spill on aisle 5.
We'll be all right. Don't step in.
Can I talk about timing? Okay, so we will be drawing a total of 5 community source questions. So these were gathered, sorry, can you hear me again? Okay. We will be gathering, we have gathered 5 questions, and we will be drawing them at random out of a bag. These were sourced directly from the community, and we want to thank everyone who submitted one. And we're excited to cover issues ranging from public safety, infrastructure, economic development, and all the other concerns that are important to us as Richmond voters. So, all right, thank you. Is that good?
Thank you so much. So, if anybody in the audience have questions as well, we will allot time for that to take place. Our questions and our rules and our format will go as following. 1 minute for questions and answers, 30 to 45 seconds for rebuttals, 1.5 minutes for closing statements, review of format, rebuttal process, and audience Q&A process. Is everybody, should I say it again? Does everybody understand what we're doing? Yep. Wonderful, thank you so much. So, I will introduce all of our candidates here. As you all can see, they're ready to go and primed and looking very handsome and beautiful. And so, let's do what we came here to do. To my left, Mr. Brandon Evans, would you raise your hand, please? District 3. Ms. Doria Robinson, District 3, raise your hand, please. Mr. Singh, District 4, raise your hand, please. District 3. District 3, please forgive me. And Dimlis Johnson, mayoral candidate. Claudia Jimenez, mayoral candidate. Ahmad Anderson, mayoral candidate. Keisha Gallen, District 4. And Mr. Purcell, District 4. Thank you all so much for coming. I'm going to turn the mic over to these 2 gentlemen right here as they will begin our question and answering process. Thank you.
All right, candidates. While homicides in Richmond and elsewhere are down, assaults, property, and other crimes have significantly spiked. Do you favor increasing the city's budget to assure Richmond reaches minimum staffing levels for police and fire? So that question is for anyone who wants to answer, because I'm not already MC just stepped off. So, for the beginning, Dennis, can you please answer that question?
I was gonna hop in there anyway, so I appreciate that. Well, yes, as mentioned, oh, that's pretty loud. As mentioned, my name is Dimlis Johnson III, and I am your candidate for mayor. And I do believe in making sure that we have minimum staffing levels here in the city of Richmond. When we call for services, I want the police to show up. First, I want them to answer the phone, and then I want them to show up. We can't have in Richmond what we saw in Oakland, where wait times were going into the hours, and people who were having property crimes or having their life threatened didn't have any presence from the police come and investigate or, just be present. So for me, I always tell people, we want the police to work in our neighborhood just like they work in wealthy neighborhoods, where they don't kill nobody and they show up to do their job. And that's really what we want here in the city of Richmond.
Thank you. Ms. Doria, will you please answer the question?
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me out? So hi, I'm Doria Robinson. I'm a third-generation Richmond resident, current city council person for District 3. I grew up in District 3. I love District 3. And I have good news. And the good news is we already have our minimum staffing. Just talked to the police chief. He said that we no longer have mandatory overtime. Minimum staffing has been achieved because you know what he said? He said that because our budget is so good, because we have surpluses, because we're off of the audit list, because we have a elevated credit rating, that we have a dearth of officers who are coming and applying to Richmond. Because you know why? In other jurisdictions, they're getting laid off. And they're looking for us, to Richmond, for stability. So as of 2 weeks ago, no more mandatory overtime because we've made that minimum staffing. And we're gonna continue to hire more officers. They just had a ceremony to get more officers in. And we have the same condition in fire. They absolutely have no more mandatory overtime. I just talked to them. They are in a good shape. We are in a good way and we're moving forward. We got more to do, but we're in a good way and we're moving forward.
Thank you. Ms. Claudia Jimenez?
Thank you. Thank you everybody for coming. Claudia Jimenez. I am current city council in District 3. And as my colleague who I have been working with alongside in Richmond City Council, I am proud to say that we don't have any more mandatory overtime. So we are actually making efforts to fill all the vacancies that we have in Richmond Police Department. But adding to that, we have been investing in a holistic approach to safety in our community. We just launched the Community Crisis Response Program called ROC, responding of compassion and kindness. And it's going to start, and is already starting, responding to non-violence 911 calls and mental health calls. So the police have the time to really do what they are trained to do, which is investigating and go to the violence crimes. So we are moving in that direction, and this is why last year we closed with the lowest homicide rate in the history of the city.
Ms. Claudia, thank you. Next, Ms. Keisha Gallup.
Well, I guess there's nothing to really answer since we're fully staffed now. But just to touch on ROC, ROC has been around for what, 2 or 3 years now?
No, we just launched it right now.
But you had staff around for ROC?
No, we couldn't hire the staff because the Police Union Association was...
Okay, so I actually did a community event with ROC a couple of years ago. So ROC should be up and functioning, which it is not. And we're really not doing the police department a justice if we have a program that's connected to it that's not really in full capacity, that's not working hand in hand with it. And I understand that you're saying that it's up, but I know that it's not up and functioning because they're not even A3 certified.
Okay,
So just making sure that our community is safe. Whenever we implement something, it actually needs to be fully functioning, and it needs to work hand in hand with the police department if that's what it's designed to do.
Okay, thank you very much. For this question, does any of the candidates want to answer or willing to answer that question? We'll start with Brandon Evans, and then we'll go to Mr. James, and then Ahmed. Here we go.
So that would be me. I'm Ahmed Anderson, your candidate for mayor in the city of Richmond. So all this is good news across the board, but I think it's more than that. It's understanding the trauma that the community has suffered here with the police department. I'm old enough to know, and some of you all, when the Cowboys were here. Old enough to know when Oliver Jones sued us and we paid a heavy fine for that. Doing that was one step. But since that, and it's great that we've had a reduction in murders, the challenge is training needs to be had by our officers in a way they understand, like redlining, understanding what it means to live across the track, understanding to have communication with those that are here 100 years that As they are employed to protect and serve, so is 100 years to protect and serve for what they've been through. Having that collaboration, the training to understand the history of Richmond is important. It's important to understand what access means, but everybody needs to be protected, respected, and safe in their community, no matter what the zip code is.
Hello, my name is, using that stage voice. Hello, my name is Jim Purcell, and I'm running for Richmond City Council District 4. So, lovely to hear that we're now minimally staffed. We have to make sure that we have more than that, though. And I want to make sure that we are going to continue to bringing up our police as well as supporting our non-police responses. But our minimum staffing is just the bare minimum, and we need to make sure that we are having I'm happy to hear they're not working overtime, but we need to make sure that they're still connecting with the community. We need to bring back that community policing that we have had in the past, where we know our officers, but not just that, our officers know us, the citizens, and they're able to respond in a timely way. I agree that it doesn't matter what your zip code, you need to make sure that you're going to be able to get a police officer when you need it and there is a crisis. In my district, it is about a 20 to 25 minute drive from where the police station is to our district. And even further, if you're up in like the Carriage Hills area, we just want to make sure everybody is feeling safe because everybody deserves to feel safe in Richmond. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Brandon?
Thank you. Check, check, check. Good evening, everybody. Hope you guys don't mind me. My stance. My name is Brandon Evans. One of Richmond's native sons here before you this evening, running for District 3. I think it's convenient and wishful timing that all of a sudden we've hit minimum staffing levels, when I think we should talk about what led to some of the issues and lack of morale in our police department. So during the George Floyd summer, of course, we see police departments defunded across the United States. Here in Richmond, that defunding was not so much financial, but what it did is set a precedent in our department. And what it did is tell our police officers that we don't have a council that supports them. And I think we can get up here today and say everything is great and everything is amazing, but that's simply just not the case. I hope we don't have any snake oil salesmen here before you this evening telling you just untruths. I think we need to be honest about the morale, the lack of staffing, and the need to support our officers here. So thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna go with question number 2. Public priorities. Polls often show that many Richmond residents are most concerned about public safety, affordable housing, and homelessness. While city council discussions sometimes focus on other topics, how would you prioritize the city's limited time, and resources to reflect what residents say matters most to them? Maybe we can start with you, young man.
Well, I think the first thing that we can do is make sure that we're taking care of Richmond's business, and that is making sure that we are going to actually be responsive, and when we are bringing in projects, we're trying to move them through quickly. That is how we're going to resolve our housing issue. We need to be looking at what is slowing it down. Why does it take 5 to 7 years for a housing development to go through the city council? We should be looking at our permitting. We should be looking at about the lack of staffing that is perhaps what is holding it up. We need to make sure that we are getting houses built, not just talking about houses, because labor and materials goes up, and that does mean that we get less units by the time that we actually break down if we end up doing that. As well, regarding homelessness and unhoused services, I believe that this is part of public safety. This is something, they are residents even if they're unhoused. We need to make sure that we have a tax base that can support those programs to be able to get them into beds and be able to get them the services that they need so that we can make sure that all citizens of Richmond are being cared for. Thank you.
Can you repeat the question?
I sure can. Okay, public priorities. Polls often show that many Richmond residents are most concerned about public safety, affordable housing, and homelessness. While city council discussions sometimes focus on other topics, how would you prioritize the city's limited time and resources to reflect what residents say most matters to them?
I think some of these conversations needs to be like taken off the calendar, and where we have a public forum where we invite the public to sit at the table so they can actually have a say-so about what goes on in the city. We have to start focusing on what the actual needs are for the city so we can actually start tackling the needs. And once we feel like we're close to getting a resolution, then we come back and we put it on the calendar, and then we take it from there where we can actually vote on it because we really gave the community, well, I'm gonna say all the stakeholders, a real say-so into how they think things should go in the city of Richmond.
Yeah, polls are great, but we don't always know who the polls are polling. So with that being said, I think it's important for me as your mayor, within the first 100 days, it's similar to what I've done, going to the neighborhood councils, but going back and asking the city council members to report back on their districts. What are the priorities from the voices, and what have they done to respond to that? Do that as an overlay so that when I give the state of the city address, we have not just a tactical of what we're doing with the shiny, fishy object to make us think that all is well, but put together a strategy and a timeline that talks about what those priorities are based upon the community. Do we have the proper staffing to adjust to that accordingly and be able to address it? And what has been laying on the table and what we need to move forward with that. From economic development, workforce development to provide jobs, not just quality jobs, but jobs that will help working families and provide benefits as well. And housing, meeting people not just at affordable level, but at levels that are real and levels that you can afford to purchase here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. I think one important thing is that we need to have a budget that is healthy and we can put the money where the priorities are. And this is what I had done. When I got there was a $90 million in deficit. Since I got there, they have been surplus. We have been able to put millions of dollars into house intervention. Doesn't mean that it's enough. We have more to do. But we are converting Motel 6 in a 50 units transitional housing. I think this is the kind of example that we pointed out that I have been involved. We also have been putting every year consistently $2 million to support programs like SOS, to support house intervention. And in housing, I think like we need to have bold visions, but bold visions with money. We are developing a work on the McDonald Task Force Avenue for revitalizing downtown. Thank you.
If I'm not mistaken, the question was, how do we prioritize Richmond issues, correct? Well, as a graduate of policy school, we have to look at the policies that allow for people to go all the way around the world and talk about issues on the other side of the world. Some are up here today, and before they even talk about Richmond. And that's where the city clerk comes in. See, as a policy guy, I'm a policy nerd. So what you're essentially hiring is somebody to help create sound policies for the city of Richmond. And we have to look at those policies. I have to sit down with the city clerk and talk about the style of meetings that we're having and how the meetings function. I remember having a conversation with her, and she had approached the current mayor and the council to change the format of the entire city council meeting so we can handle Richmond business first. And while they sit up here, as Brandon Evans said, selling snake oil, we know for a fact that they have continued to go all the way around the world before even talking about issues in their own backyard. And so as your mayor, I'm 100% committed to sitting down with our city clerk and making sure that our meetings are about Richmond business.
Well, thank you for the question. So when it comes to City Hall, I believe that it should be focused around its people first. As a resident of Richmond myself, I often feel that the City Hall can be rather distant from its people. So as City Council member, when I get there, I want to have a community system that actually focuses on what the people need, not what the representatives of the people actually want themselves. So that means actually going out and listening to people themselves. That could be like door to door if that's possible, or even hosting small events that could give us the idea of what the people actually need, whereas just doing whatever that the representatives feel is best. Thank you.
Thank you. So I would say, and what I've heard along the campaign trail is that Richmonders are most concerned about quality of life issues, and I would say public safety is a quality of life issue. Another quality of life issue is blight, right? And just cleanliness of our commercial corridors, So I think we need to address the things that impact the day-to-day quality of life for our citizens. Illegal dumping, again, blight, making sure we have a fully staffed police department. And also I think opportunities for our young people, right? So by investing more resources into departments like the Employment and Training Department, as well as supporting our seniors and our folks who are aging in this community. We have a great senior center. Actually, the senior center is one of my favorite city buildings. They're doing some great activities there, but I want to see more services for that population. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. All right, on to the next one.
One second.
There's a question, there was a statement, there was told in the instructions that there be an opportunity to rebut.
Yeah.
What wasn't clear.
Right, she's not, Doria hasn't spoken. Doria
Yeah,
hasn't.
but I'm very clear that she hasn't spoken, just for the process, so that we're all clear. So I'm asking, because I'm just asking a question, I'm not interrupting her. I'm asking, is there a rebuttal process? Because what we've done is just jump to question to question. Yet in the process that was explained, there was going to be a time for rebuttal. So I'm just, so that we're all clear. Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Anytime, so at the end of the questions,
Okay.
remember, come back and say, hey, you said that I don't agree with what you said. And then lay it out there.
All right.
So, I'm gonna do some pushing back here, because this whole thing around snake oil salesmen and all this kind of stuff. One, in the 3 years that I've been on council, we might have had 20 total issues that did not have to do with Richmond. Do you know how many issues are on any one agenda? Sometimes hundreds. So, over 3 years, where you have 3 meetings a month, for 12 months a year, and at least 50 items on the agenda, the vast majority of the things that we're dealing with are all Richmond. All Richmond. Moving things for Richmond, period. Just put that away. Number 2, there was 3 different questions kind of nested in that one question. I'm gonna go into one thing, that's housing. Our issue with moving housing projects has to do with this economy and developers who don't have the capacity to move the project. And Richmond not making developers adhere to their contracts. And that is the thing that we've been working on. It is not about, at this point, permits and planning and everything. It's about $100 million projects and not enough money in this economy to move it. And it's about developers who don't have the capacity to do what they say that they're gonna do.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Robinson. So we're talking about money, huh? All right. With the city receiving a significant amount of general fund revenue connected to Chevron right down the street, what do you think is the most responsible way to use that money to address everyday concerns like safety, housing, and the cost of living, amongst other things? Let's start with Mr. Brandon Evans, and we're gonna go back, no, excuse me. Let's start with Brandon, then we'll go to my left.
Absolutely. So I would say, and something that we've been saying since the 2024 cycle, when this was a wedge issue, that this is the people's payday. This is not the city's payday. This is the people's payday who have been most burdened in closest proximity to the refinery. Of course, Richmond's biggest financial obligation is our unfunded pension liabilities. And some will say, hey, we should address decades-old debt with this funding. I say we should address some of the debt with these funds, but I also want to see immediate capacity in our departments. So in departments like our streets department, our abatement department, our parks department, our streets team, they need additional staff to be able to do the work. The city of Richmond has 54 parks. Of the 54 parks, I think we had 6 staff outside of the 2 landscaping improvement districts that are in Marina Bay and in Hilltop, and that's a shame.
So I want to give you an update. One of the things I fought for is to have 2 additional parks and landscaping teams, so we don't only have 6 staff for our 54 parks. I also fought for an additional tree team, because we only had 1 tree team. So I've been at work actually addressing and fixing these problems by forcing these issues, putting it on the agenda, and making the budget move in the right direction. How should we spend this money? I have been told that if we put our $50 million in a safe interest-bearing account, we can gain $50,000 a month if we put it in there and then we only use the interest instead of using the principal. And I'm like, let's be smart. We have 1 opportunity with this money. We have 10 years. We can make that 10 years last a lifetime, last generations. If we're not dumb and go on some kind of spending spree, we can still spend money. But we need to spend the money that our money makes, not the principal.
Okay, so when it comes to the money that we got from Chevron, I believe that the city council should actually have a sit down and actually go around what the people actually need. There's infrastructure that needs more development. As Doria said, we could actually put that money towards an investment fund. That way we could use the interest that is gained from that. That way that we don't just blow the money away all at once. We need to actually secure that money, because I mean, 50 million is not a lot. That can just go away really fast when it comes to like city operations. So yeah, just sitting down, discussing what actually needs to be done first is what I believe should be done. Thank you.
I've said this before, and although some of my opponents have disagreed, the people in North, South, and Central won that lawsuit, not the RPA. It was people suffering from health disparities, from asthma, and I'm old enough to have gotten 18 money from Chevron. So those are the people who have suffered the most. And while we're talking about investing, and I'm not saying that's a bad idea, neither is putting it towards our pensions, but if we're not taking care of the individuals whose backs this money was won on, then what are we even talking about to start with? If we aren't increasing monitoring systems to make sure that the greenhouse gases and that the environment in those areas that we're reducing harm in those areas, then what are we talking about? We're going to be right back in the same situation trying to win another $550 million because we didn't change anything. We need to address the health disparities. We need to make sure that individuals have access to health care that from a result of being next to those refineries in those industrial areas. Until we start talking about how to really address the issues that people are facing, we just blowing smoke.
Thank you so much. I'm proud to say that I was one of the co-sponsors to put that ballot initiative on the agenda and vote it. And because of that, we forced Chevron to come to the table and start making some deals with us. And here I have the other person that along me fought really hard for more than money that they were saying, and it was Doria Robinson. And this is a once life opportunity that we have, and we need to hear the community, so the priorities shape how we are going to invest that money. But as the same thing, we need to be smart about how we are going to have financial distribution and reciprocity to get more money out of that money. We need to start thinking about how we are going to be more sustainable, because Chevron right now accounts for about 20% of the general fund. 24% about the general fund, I'm sorry. And we need to have a smart investment that bring more. Okay, I'm sorry.
So, yeah, as was stated, I think that the $550 million was a tactic. It wasn't strategic. If it was strategic when it was, as was just explained, put forth, it should have been outlined what the plan was with the community once we got the money, not after the fact. We're still talking about what we're going to do with the money, and yet the health factors haven't changed. As an asthmatic of 60 years, someone who was born South 17th Street with the other sons of the South Side, I want to be very clear. We should be investing it from as far as Parkchester, who needs infrastructure work for flooding since 66 years, all the way to the Point, who lives right next door. From that perspective, what also needs to be done is a hospital district. We don't have a hospital. We need to have satellite organizations, healthcare like we do, UCSF coming, but that needs to be in the places that are less represented and undeserved in this community. Those are the things that need to be taking place first. If you're going to put your money where your mouth is, step up and step into it and represent what the cause is for the people.
I have to agree. Richmond is a city where I feel that doesn't have pride and purpose anymore. I feel like we need to take some of that money and start investing in small businesses to start growing the economy again for Richmond. We need to create pipelines or pathways for Richmond to start hiring Richmond stakeholders, because it's not right for people to live in Richmond and not be able to work at the city of Richmond or to have a job in Richmond when there's a lot of opportunity here. From 94803 to 94801, there's over a $40,000 pay gap. That's not right. So we need to create more jobs. We need to create an infrastructure where we're actually helping the people, healing the people, mind, body, and soul. And we actually need to start doing things to start empowering our youth and get more enrichment programs up so that we can actually make sure that our kids are educated.
So I think that's exactly what everybody is up here to do, is to show that we are responsible. And I think that as part of being responsible, we should be looking at some of these surveys we've done, because how many times has Richmond been surveyed? Over and over and over. We know what the people need. Now, I will say that we should absolutely invest it. I think that actually the savings idea is really a great one. As well, if we are going to invest it into our city in actual material, we should be looking at those infrastructure improvements, things that are going to improve people's health. Things like, people need to remember that the freeways are actually the top producers of particulate matter within our city, and they are continuously going into our communities. And nobody's pointing a finger at them, but we can do infrastructure improvements to be able to reduce that particulate matter that we are experiencing, as well as investing in the communities that have been least served. I think absolutely everybody has been saying good things, but we need to make sure that we are using it wisely. This is like when you have a house, you need to make sure you're putting your money that is going to keep you housed, and it's not making sure we're getting lottery rich and blowing it on things that we can't afford to sustain over time. So I think we need to make sure that we're investing it well. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll rebuttal.
Yeah, the rebuttal can't come after the question.
Okay, question's over.
That was the question.
Yeah, that was a
Question's
lot.
over. Okay, fantastic. So I think it's important to talk about, to tell the full story, right? The settlement was initially a ballot measure that would have generated more than $550 million, right? So that was what we settled for. We probably couldn't have gotten $1 billion. Some folks will say, we've saved the city so much money. Well, what about what you lost the city? The language was written biased. That's why a court decided and forced them into settlement talks. So it didn't happen organically, as if the Chevron just came to the table and said, hey, we're going to give you $550 million. If you know or are paying attention, Chevron is the largest refinery in Contra Costa County. They're refining 250,000 barrels a day. The measure would have charged them $1 a barrel. Do the math on it. $550 million is a drop in the bucket.
So I want
One at a
to,
time, one at a time. We don't want to crosstalk, one at a time. So the rebuttal is 45 seconds.
okay.
So try to look over here, peek a little bit, and then.
Okay. I just wanted to say, first of all, the judge, we didn't go to a judge because we settled before. And we settled because this was going to be in the ballot, we knew that it was going to win, and then we were going to be spending millions and millions of dollars fighting with Chevron before we get the money. And that was what happened in Carson. Carson in 2017 got money and is not able to use it right now because they are in a battle, in a lawsuit. Chevron had a lot of money to do that. So we were settled doing that because we wanted the money right now for our communities and not spend more money.
Every time.
Ms. Claudia, can you please respect the time?
Yeah,
She don't respect us.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
All right.
Quickly, I'm going to repeat what Claudia said. A similar ballot measure was passed by the voters in Carlson, and they are still in a legal lawsuit with Chevron today, and they haven't seen a dime. Our effort to settle was so we did not have to spend millions of dollars in legal fees, and we could get the money now. We have now received $50 million, and we're going to receive another $500 million. So if you could do better, then, but you know, I think that's pretty good, $500 million. Two, we are going to be spending some of this money. That's why we have the community meetings coming up so people can have their voices heard on this issue, how we should spend this money. My point is that we should invest it and only spend the money that we are making on the money, so that money could last much longer than 10 years. It could last generations.
Thank you.
Let's be clear, we do think we can do better. That's why we're running. We can do much better than what has been done in the city of Richmond.
So
I'm speaking, please.
1 second, hold on. Everybody, as we said for the rules in the beginning, let's respect everyone's answers and rebuttal. One at a time, and we're gonna get through it. All right, let's go. Come on, Mr. Johnson.
This is what I'm talking about. The lack of respect and the lack of like forethought. Of course we think we can do better. That's why we're running. Having been from the city of Richmond and having like read all of the studies and done all of our homework, of course we think we can do better. That's why we're running. We most definitely feel like the city needs more. We keep the bare minimum. I'm tired of Richmond getting the bare minimum. We need leaders at the city council who are ready to take us into the next stratosphere. And this idea of doing the bare minimum or throwing bricks at a granite wall is going to get us where we need to be. It's not happening. We need bold vision. That's why we're running. We need individuals who aren't afraid to step out there and look for investment for housing and not just sit on our hands and say, well, they don't have the money.
Thank you. Anyone else for this question?
Sure. Just real quickly. You know, we talked about budget and fiduciary responsibility and investment, and I think the investment is good. But at the same time, we balance the budget by not hiring folks who take care of the bread and butter things, the pothole, the city services, the staffing of police, the fire department. That's not a balanced budget. You're only not you're balanced budget because you're saving money because you're not hiring people. And I'm an HR person, so I know how that works. As we talked about, it impacts the morale. When you don't have folks working, it impacts morale, not on their overtime, but workers' compensation, but how they respond. We need to have a holistic look, but we need folks who've been in business to take care of the business, and the business is you, the people.
Thank you. Anyone else for the rebuttal? Anyone? Next question.
Okay.
Hold on 1 second. Did you get your chance?
Yeah, he did.
You got a chance, my brother. We're gonna get to the next one.
We'll let him have that one.
Okay, so the next question, this is pretty good. It's sizzling up here, by the way. Economic dependency and closure risk. That's the question. Economic dependency and closure risk. We've seen in places like Benicia how the closure of the refinery can leave a major hole in the city's budget. Given that Chevron represents a large share of Richmond's general fund, how should the city be planning for economic stability in that revenue wherever to change or disappear? You understand that question?
I did.
Shout out to that gentleman here. From right down, yeah.
Okay.
Well, one of the reasons why Chevron makes up such a large portion of our budget is because we don't have a lot of other large businesses here. And that's one of the things that we need to be doing is bringing in more big businesses, more big industries into this city. If we want to make sure we're going to be able to get all that Chevron money, we should not be running them off right now, especially because they provide thousands of union jobs to the city, as well as peripheral benefits or to the Point and to other parts of Richmond. It's where people spend their money when they work at Chevron. So we need to be making sure that we're actually bringing in more businesses if we want to reduce the impact of when they eventually leave, by bringing in more businesses. And the way we can do that is making sure we have infrastructure that is going to be supportive of the businesses, make it attractive to businesses. As well, we need to make sure that the businesses we're bringing in are going to be providing those same good union jobs that they can currently get at Chevron in new ways, whether that's going to be working on whatever that may be, should I say. We should be making sure that we're trying to bring that in as part of making sure that we're improving our economy.
So we can actually improve by investing in our small businesses, actually creating more spots for tourism. Richmond is like a hidden gem. The marina, the ferry area, we can start putting attractions there where we actually attract people there, where we're bringing in more outside dollars, creating our pipeline to employment, where we're keeping more dollars in the city of Richmond because we're hiring more Richmond residents. We can actually start doing things where we're investing in our youth again, where we're putting more vocational trainings into the school so when they come out, they're already trained and they can actually take some of these jobs that we're creating here. Creating more green jobs, where we're doing more things with solar. We have to start doing things where we're helping a community and growing a community, and we're not doing that. We actually really need to start listening to our stakeholders and start working with them and bringing them to the table so we can start making the change that the city really needs.
So I'd say that we have 4 areas that I can think of right away. One is the McDonald Avenue corridor, one is Hilltop, one is 23rd Street, and one is the port and that area as well. So from the port, we need to really invest time in diversifying what we do at the port. We need to hire folks that have a better vision than just events in that area. We need to look at the ferry building of the Greenway, bring that place to look like the San Francisco Ferry, where it becomes a destination. Looking at Hilltop area as well, where you can build an opportunity for a hospital or workforce development at East Bay Skills Center. Having the East Bay Skills Center develops people on not only the AI, which OpenAI is coming here, and 700 some odd jobs are coming, but it doesn't say what those jobs are going to be available for us. We're not prepared for that. We need to be working with our schools, our Contra Costa Unified School District, buildings and trades, so that when you have that, businesses will say, that's where we go when we lose our employees that don't want to drive here. You can hire Richmond first.
You mentioned Venetia, and we don't want to be Venetia, and this is why we fought really hard to get money from Chevron right now. So it gives us time to think about how we diversify. And I agree, we need more jobs, but not any single jobs or any, we need to be building an economy that is a green economy, that stop polluting our kids. And this is why we had invested a lot of time in the port. We just know how much we need to start putting in the port, and we need with investment to do it. We have a deep water port and needs to be used as such. We are bringing the former director of the port in Oakland to help us to think about how we regionally can develop that. I am part of the McDonald Task Force to think about how we really make sure that our downtown can be revitalized. Thank you.
John. Yeah, once again, just from the policy perspective of it, Richmond has 3 primary sources of income. Not our only sources of income, but our 3 primary sources of income is business tax, property tax, and utility user tax, excuse me. Now, we do have to increase our property tax by building more single-family housing and housing that people can buy here in the city of Richmond. That way we can increase that revenue stream. We most definitely need to increase our business tax revenue stream by recruiting larger manufacturing businesses. We have 6 spaces here in the city of Richmond ready to go for green manufacturing. However, they're not coming because our leadership is lacking. Also, the same with traditional manufacturing here in the city of Richmond. And we have several business corridors. Now, utility user tax, I'm still working on that. And unless somebody got a way to get Netflix and Hulu to send us a check, I'm still working on that one. But I also want to take some time during this response to address my previous response. I take Richmond and Richmond residents extremely personal. I am tired of individuals moving to Richmond, talking to us crazy, doing everything between pimping and playing us, and thinking we're supposed to support them. I'm tired of it, and it ends now.
So I know this one's already been mentioned, but I believe that we should actually invest in our city's economy. So that means not only investing in the big corporations, like driving them towards Richmond, but also investing in our local businesses. Your mom and pop shop, invest in them, grow the money locally, is what I strongly believe in.
So I want to agree with a lot of things that I've heard here. Definitely need to invest in our small businesses. Definitely need to attract large businesses. Definitely need to build up our port. Definitely need to have a vision for our marina, because that is a jewel waiting to be built out, waiting to have more economy happening there. The question is, how do we do this, right? What's the mechanics? So some of these things we've been working on. In order to build up the port, we have to understand what state is it currently in and what kind of businesses can it support. What did we do? We did a port assessment so we can exactly understand that and know what kind of businesses and how many businesses can we actually support at the port. We're making steps. On the McDonald Avenue Task Force, we're doing the same thing. We did a whole mapping of who owns what property. How can we use Richmond-owned vacant lots as an anchor to attract new businesses and build out a different vision, a different vision for McDonald Avenue. We've been working on the GEZ, the Green Empowerment Zone, which is a Contra Costa-wide effort to bring green businesses here. We're building up our economic development department to support it.
Thank you. So one of my campaign platforms is actually an industrial renaissance. So if you are African American, most likely your family got to Richmond in the 1940s. Mine came in 1940 here. Found an opportunity in the Kaiser shipyards, right? Was able to raise a large family, purchase a home, and it really kind of contribute to the community. That is what we need today. We don't need part-time positions that put people on for 6 weeks and then they're off back into the job market. We need to create really infrastructure in our employment and training department. We got to skill people up. We can talk about attracting all these companies and all these industries, but if we don't have skilled labor, they will recruit from outside of Richmond to fill these positions. So it has to be a both and. And I'll piggyback on the Green Empowerment Zone, which is a vehicle really tasked by the county that includes all of the waterfront cities in Contra Costa County. We can use that as a vehicle to bring in new ideas and fresh policies and create new economies. Thank you.
Any questions, or should I say any rebuttals to that before we move on? Go ahead, Keisha.
I have a question.
Well,
I have a rebuttal, right?
Hogging the mics.
Keisha, then Dory.
Rebuttal, but it's a question too. Because we're saying that we have these McDonald task force, we have all these things that we're working on. You're questioning how do we do it, but are we including a community on how things should move? Because you have people out here that actually work in the industry. You have people out here that can actually help you move your plan forward, but you're not including them. Richmond is a city that says we're including all our stakeholders, but a lot of us are feeling left out. And that's why a lot of us are up here running. And we also say that we lack resources, but once you start including the whole city and pulling all the small businesses together, you can start leveraging your resources.
Yeah, I'd also like to say that, you need to have...
Excuse me, Ahmed. Doria was second, then you can go start.
That's why I asked the process.
Yeah.
So quickly, the McDonald Avenue Task Force actually has seats for business owners, people who live along McDonald, and other folks. It's an open meeting. Anybody can come. Anybody can give comment. People do come and give comment. There are a number of different people who live on McDonald Avenue who are actually on that task force. So, and there's more to come. Like it just got off the ground. It's just getting started. What is interesting to me is that many of the things that are being mentioned tonight are things that are in motion. They are already happening. We are working on them. These are complex things, big things, and they are coming. We are working on it, you know, and it's hard because, you know, we actually need to work on communication so people know more about what's going on.
Thank you. Mr. Anderson, and then Brandon.
Yeah, so I'm glad you said that because people in hell want more than ice water today. Transparency and accountability and communication is the gateway to that. Don't tell us afterwards what's in progress and then start. Access and equity has been our concern in this community for a long time. But I'd also say to you, to talk about what can be here, you have to have a trained workforce here. If you don't have a trained workforce, the people that live outside will be people that will be still working here. And the people that live here, most of us work outside of the city. We need to provide a pathway to that development through East Bay Skills Center that aligns with those industries we've talked about, so we are labor ready, so we get fair wages, so we're compliant. That's what we need to do, not after the fact.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So there's been mention of a McDonald Avenue task force, and my question is, why wasn't the city councilwoman who represents downtown included in the task force? Instead, we have Councilwoman Claudia Jimenez, who represents 23rd Street in District 6, nowhere near downtown, sitting on the task force. So when we talk about being transparent and being honest, the District 1 council member was excluded from the downtown task force for a district that she represents. What is the point of having district elections if the representative from that district is not included in the conversation?
I need a second.
Can I?
Excuse me, gentlemen, you're at this. Go ahead,
I was just going to respond that one of the reasons why I'm running is because I want to make sure that we are that the things that are moving forward, I know that the current person who's representing District 4 is not a part of that, and it's because they don't have an investment in that part of the city. And I want to make sure that if we have people elected, that they're looking after all of the city. Yes. And so I just want to make sure that that is clarified. And as well, I do believe communication does need to be expanded, especially with timelines that people can count on. So I agree with some of the points made, but I want to clarify about at least what is happening in this seat.
Absolutely. Thank you all very much. On to the next question.
Can I speak in the rebuttal?
Still on the same
You got, okay, go ahead.
Thank you. I think somebody mentioned that why I am there in the task force, the McDonald task force, is for my interest to have a downtown that works for everybody, that works for my district. My district goes outside, and we want people to spend money here. And if we have a downtown that is vibrant, then we draw people here. I know that for the fact that the chief of staff invited council member for District 1, and I don't know what happened, but then after that, I was invited to be there. So I didn't take any space. The space was
Time.
Convenience. That's what I want y'all to remember tonight. Everything is very convenient for tonight. All of a sudden, these issues are being worked on. All of a sudden, these things are happening. After years of being on the council during election time, all of a sudden, things are moving. And we have the district representative right there saying that she was not invited. So you're going to lie in our face. It's crazy. This is the type of leadership we have in the city of Richmond. I'm not on the council. So, one thing that we have to understand, one of the things that we need to understand is that people are going to tell whatever they need to say to get elected. The District 1 councilmember is literally back there saying that she was not invited. The meeting was changed a number of times to make sure that she was not included, and the chief of staff even apologized.
Time. Let's respect each one's opinion and questions and answers, y'all. Audience, let's go. So, for the next question, please. Everyone here. The next question is, how are you connecting to the community and residents of Richmond? Are you going down there, knocking on their doors, talking to them, asking for their needs? If so, how are you doing that? The next question, why should the residents and the people of Richmond trust all of you? Starting with Mr. Singh, and then we're going to go down and then come back.
You broke the microphone.
Okay. Well, this is, of course, my first campaign running for district council member. As part of my campaign, I've actually went door to door in District 3, listened to many people's needs. I've heard a lot of things. I've learned a lot that has to be done. One thing I understood from me going door to door is most neighborhoods have never seen their council member there. That's, of course, like astonishing to hear that. As an elected official, you are representing the people. So when you're sitting in the city council, you should voice the people's opinions first over yours or your party's. So, of course, my main thing would be to actually go door to door, or as I mentioned previously, holding little meetings where people can get together, whether it's online or in person, and listen to what the people actually need. And when it comes to people trusting me, I'd say it's because I'm not here to really fight. I'm not like part of a political machine. I'm here sitting honestly as a resident. I'm a retail worker, a student. I want what's best for this community.
I will say this, young man. I will say this. You better fight. I want to go with Mr. Johnson. You want to answer the question?
Yeah. Sorry, I thought we were going down this way.
I got it.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
So the question is this here. How, why, and are you going to the community, to the residents, to the people? Why should they trust you? Why should they believe in you? What do you have for the people?
Thank you. So, if you can do anything in life, it is to be of service. And that is the best thing you can be in life, is to be of service to another. And that is what I do. I am the chair of Richmond Rainbow Pride. I've worked down at Crescent Park trying to inform people about the environmental issues that they face. I have been on a number of different nonprofits and a number of different, I was on the Reimagine Public Safety Task Force. I really love getting out into the city. I have gone canvassing with a number of people on this panel right now, and especially around Prop 50. Because I try to make sure that people are informed. It is the most important thing that you can do as a public official, is make sure that you have an informed electorate. You have to make sure that they know what you're working on, but what you aspire to. Why I am someone who can be trusted is because, frankly, the only thing you have in life is your name. The only thing you have in life is your integrity, and that's the thing that I try to make sure that I work every single day to make sure to protect. And I do that when I knock on every door in my district, and I do that when I knock on the doors, regardless of where they are in Richmond.
Thank you. Come back to, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to hear, give everybody a fair opportunity. Here you go. Mr. Evans.
So, when we talk about campaigns and campaigning, I've been running campaigns here since 2018. The first campaign that I ran and made history was with my good friend Demlis Johnson here, youngest person ever elected at 25 years old. We came in first place that election cycle. Every election cycle, yeah, clap for that. Clap for the history. Every cycle since then, I've run campaigns. 90% of the time for free for individuals like Dr. Jamila Brown, who secured the District 1 City Council seat last election cycle. Guadalupe Enyana, our current school board president. Fatima Allen, who ran for county board, who was on county board of education and ran for re-election. This cycle, I'm completely an independent candidate. I'm not tied to any group. I'm not tied to any interest. I'm self-funding my campaign outside of contributions from friends and family. I'm not tied to anybody. There's no strings attached. Why I'm the best candidate? Because I'm the honest candidate.
Ms. Gallen?
Like Brandon, I'm not tied to any entity. I'm currently doing the work, been doing the work, boots on the ground for the past 7 years. And this is the first year that my organization got funded, but prior to that, I was given 25% of my own income to make sure that I brought resources to the city of Richmond, and I went outside to actually go to other organizations like Brady's, Moms Demand Action, to actually help bring resources in. I've been out there, I've been doing the cancer walks with the people, whoever was sick, made sure that they got the money that they needed for their cancer medication. Been out there doing domestic violence walk to make sure that people had what they needed, providing Christmases for the kids. And when I say Christmas, I mean everything that they needed. Out there feeding the homelessness. 2020, when COVID hit and the world shut down, it was me and Fahim out there feeding the community, with motivated to help others. So I've been out there, I've been doing the work. And I'm a person to trust because I'm not tied to anyone.
Ms. Robinson?
So, I have not been transplanted here. I was born here. My family came here in the 40s as well. And for the last 20 years, I've been serving this community, building up an organization that employs 84. 70% of those are full-time, above living wage, Richmond residents. Richmond residents. We built a farm. We feed 500 families every week. That's my day job. So I go around and I talk to many, many people. Why do I have support? Why do I have, support from John Monk? Why do I have support from Joe Fisher? Because I show up. I show up at the neighborhood council. I listened to what they said. They said we wanted our street sweeping back. Why is that? That's not fair. We should have it back. You know what I did? I fought for it and I got it because they asked me to. I'm fighting right now for Pullman to have a park. You know why? Because I go to the Pullman neighborhood council and they tell me what they want, and then I go to bat for them. I fight for them. I fought for Parchester. I show up and I fight.
Thank you. Mr. Anderson?
Born and raised in Richmond. Family came here in 1950. Ran for city council in 1985 when I was 25. Lost by 400, but I kept fighting. Became part of the Youth Service Bureau at the time during the crack epidemic. Wanted to be a role model, but also share and learn from my community that I might not have been in touch with. Part of the Child Care Council for working families, so folks had to be able to work, but have somewhere to take their kids. I continued to talk about what transportation and access meant and ran for the BART board and lost by 70 votes, which used to be Latifah Simon's district. But I did that because I want to make sure that this area here, which was the original transit village, not Fruitvale, here, where you had the train, where you had the bus, where you had BART, where people could be able to work, eat, live, and play, could be of success. I continued to fight. I became the chair of the Economic Development Commission, worked with Brandon Evans and Demlis Johnson as city council person to make sure we have access and equity. In addition to that, I'm still fighting. Brandon ran my last campaign and worked on that campaign. We
Mr. Evans,
continue to
Mr.
fight.
Evans, Mr. Evans.
It said 10 seconds. It said 10 seconds.
They off a little.
Time's up. Let's say time's up.
There's a lag between
Sorry.
the timekeepers.
I'm watching the clock, Doc.
I just saw the time. Go ahead. You got 10 seconds.
So, in essence, son of Booker Anderson and Irma Anderson, flesh of their flesh and blood of their blood, giving back to the communities that rent you serve to live on this earth. My aim is, when I'm done on this earth, I'm paid up in full, trust me.
Miss Claudia?
Yeah.
No,
Excuse me. It's Dimmers. You gotta come back this way. I was watching him.
Can you repeat the question for me, please? I just want to make sure I answer.
Why should the people trust you, Dimmers? How often do you go talk to the people? Why should they believe in you?
And if I'm
Why you not a liar?
Yeah, I was going to say, and if I'm not mistaken, the first part of that question that you asked was like, how am I interacting with the people?
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
To make sure I had you right. I'm in the neighborhood. I am in every neighborhood, no rock unturned. I am in the religious centers, the housing projects. Wherever Richmond is, that's where I am. I'm a 4th generation Richmond resident. We've been here since been here. And so having the opportunity to know who some of the formal and informal community leaders are, I'm meeting with those individuals. I'm talking to them because a lot of times we just go to the person who everybody knows, right? The neighborhood council president. But if you're from Richmond, you know every neighborhood has an informal leader. And so it's about meeting with those individuals. It's about being integrated into the entire community, not just the black community, not just the community that you look like. That's what I do. As a council member, as an individual, even when I wasn't on the council, working with organizations to make sure that everybody had a voice. And that's part of the reason why you should trust me. I don't lie to you. I don't kid you. And even if you don't disagree with me, I'm still going to tell you the truth. So for me, that's what makes me your mayor. Because I'm your son, I'm your nephew, I'm your cousin, I'm everybody. You raised me.
Patrick? Claudia, you have an answer? Oh, Claudia.
I didn't grow up here. I am from Colombia, but as many immigrants, which I chose to live here. My kids are here. They were born in Richmond. So I am choosing to be here, and it has been an honor to work in the community. First, I started as a community organizer, working with Tamisha Walker from Saberton Project, fighting to bring money for services in this community. We were the first county that brought $5.2 million that were going to the sheriff department into services into this community. And this is the work that allowed me to be serving in city council. In my first years in the city council, we fought really hard to create 500 youth jobs. I fought to get city of Richmond out of predatory loans, saving $84 million to the city. I fought with Doria Robinson to bring $550 million, and now we have this tremendous opportunity. So I had done the job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any rebuttals?
Oh, here we go.
I got one, brother. So here's the deal. I heard what Claudia said about the saving money for predatory loans. But as we recall from COVID, and even when you buy something, you get a loan for something, I think it was a smart move to renegotiate the loans. But the challenge is when those are due, the problem is we'll be more in debt if we don't increase the revenue for this community. We talked about that around what we're going to do and be Chevron or Benicia. But our even household levels are not similar to Benicia. We are under level per household. So we need to talk about what that debt's going to be like when they call for the loan and we have to pay them.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think that what we did was to refinance a loan that we already had. And what I discovered was that because predatory loans from 2009 to 2021, the city of Richmond had paid for termination fees to the banks $66 million. And nobody did it before me to look into that. So I looked into that and I said, why we had that? And because of that, we were able to save $84 million of a loan that we had already been paid. So yes, we need to look for more revenue, but we have been looking for more revenue. Measure U, the son up here we're against, is bringing $12 million every year for the city of Richmond.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next question. This is an interesting question too.
Good.
Oversight and accountability. Who is responsible for overseeing the city's use of large settlement funds to make sure the money isn't wasted or left unused? I'll start with Evans. And we'll go all the way down to the left.
So ultimately, it's the responsibility of the city council. In the city of Richmond, we have a manager-council system. So our city council is actually responsible for creating policies through ordinances, right? But the day-to-day management and operations of our city are done by our city manager. City council members cannot direct a city staff person to do anything in any department. That direction has to come from the city manager. And I think when we talk about, maybe changing our current format and giving maybe a strong mayor system, right, where the mayor is taken out of the council, kind of how Oakland has. I think those are just different strategies. But ultimately, the city council has a responsibility to manage and steward the funds.
Dorian.
Yeah, that's right. The city council has the ultimate responsibility, and the buck stops with the city council in terms of making sure that there's accountability around the funds. But I also believe that we should create a community advisory committee to make sure that they're watching the details of what's happening with the funds, and that there's a regular place and a regular timing that anybody could come to a public meeting and find out what's happening with the funds. That's what I personally believe. I think that that's a way that we could have a deeper amount of transparency and direct involvement in the process.
Thank you. Next person, then.
So of course, yeah, I agree that the city council is the one that manages the funds. I was going to touch on that. Dory already did. That we should definitely set up a different community that actually looks at those funds and how it's actually used throughout the city.
Yeah, no disagreement here in terms of, who sets the policies, who sets the vision. That most definitely comes from the city council. Whether the finance director is managing the funds or the city manager is managing the departments, we want to make sure that we have a city council that has vision and that that knows the city. I think is very important. I love the idea of participatory budgeting, but I want to go into the community. As I mentioned, I'm a Richmond kid, so I want to go to Booker T. Anderson and have participatory budget meetings. I want to go into the Nevin Center and get people not to have to come all the way down to City Hall, but we come to you. I think that's what's been missing a lot of times from our city council meetings, is the expectation that individuals have to drive down to Civic Center. I think it was John who mentioned that the police department, is 25 minutes away from their district. City Hall is not too far behind that. So what would it look like to have a city council meeting or a participatory budget meeting in the May Valley area or in the Parkchester Village area? Thank you.
Yeah, ultimately it's the city council, and you elect the city councils to have that responsibility. But I think we need to have a community process, especially for the funds that are new funds that are coming. And we need to start using the neighborhood council, and this is what is interesting to have district elections and districts, because we can create spaces, these new spaces that the districts create can be the spaces for that community voice to be able to have more input and more oversight. And then I will say that we will need that committed that is within the city with residents, so that they can not only oversee but has power to decide about how and what to invest the funds. Thank you.
Yeah, it's been made clear that the city manager runs city, direction of the city manager, what the role and responsibility of the council are. You know, part of the challenge of when we even move to districts is folks get comfortable in their district. And they don't look outside that district to recognize where there are challenges, or even challenge that district member to ask them, why aren't you seeing what I'm seeing? Having the community advisory board provides an opportunity so folks can see what's going on, getting the feedback, doing an overlay, then timelines that speak to the priorities of the community, and you're therefore being transparent, and you're being held accountable about what you say you're going to do and what you haven't done, and what's necessary for the community to grow to improve the quality of life.
Well, I have to agree, everything was pretty much answered, but just to piggyback off of what was said, I do believe that transparency is key. Accountability is what I've been talking about from day one. We need to make sure when we're creating these committees that we really get it out to the people, where we understand that everyone is not computer savvy, everyone doesn't watch the TV, so figure out a way how we get it to the homes where every stakeholder knows that there's an opportunity to stand up for your district, there's an opportunity to start creating transparency, because right now it's one-sided when we create these committees. So we have to make it open to everyone and not just certain communities.
So I'm going to piggyback on something that was said, which is about having a city council member that only is looking after their district. And I think that who I would reference is one of the person that I am running against, which is not here right now. Because it is important to be not only in the community and visible and accessible, but that means by everybody. That means whether you agree or disagree. One of the things I would like to do when I am elected is I want to be able to have a state of the district and be able to talk about the things that are going on in my district, so that we don't have city council members making statements about what that nothing ever comes out to our district, when we know that that's not true. So I will say that that's one of the things that I would bring, is because really accountability, it does fall city council, but it also falls back onto the citizens of Richmond. When we have people who are elected who are not actually being transparent, who are not giving us the information, who are not engaging, they often get reelected, unfortunately, because people are uninformed about what they're not doing. And I want to make sure everybody knows what I'm doing and why I should be reelected. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Somebody got a rebuttal to that?
Yeah, I'd say, along with what was just said, getting out the vote is not only the responsibility of you, but it's the education and awareness from the representative. If they're not coming to your community prior to the election, then you should think about why you shouldn't vote to them. Vote for them. You know, it's not about the cake cutting and the ribbons or just dancing in the lot. We have two individuals that are not here today. They should be here today, short of death and dying. Because that's what's happening in our community, because we have public health issues such as economic development, safety, and housing. That's important. That should be a priority. You're my priority.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Anyone else?
I think it was Dorian. Dorian, right?
Sheila. All right. So we're going to switch up a little bit for the sake of time. And earlier, before we began the program, the city mayor, he did come in. He left. He had another meeting somewhere, so he said it was more important. So you need one who had an understanding. Could we talk about transparency, right? What's going on with our people? Okay. This is for the audience, because y'all sitting there tired. Y'all got some questions. I know y'all do. So we're going to go one at a time. So your question, and then the members of the panel will have 30 to 45 seconds to answer from the audience members. My brother, state your name and what's your question? Excuse me. Can you, hey, get the mic. Hold on 1 second. You want to get the mic?
Run it back to you. Rodney.
For so long in Richmond, our politics pimped us. Let's keep it real. Come on. Our politics, our policies pimp the people of Richmond. That's why we have black flight right now. So all y'all sitting up here, our black people are gone because y'all let it happen. Because like my man he just said, you didn't create economic empowerment. You got a bit of a casino that was going to give you $20 million a year that you wouldn't even have to pay for. And now we say, I'm going to my question now.
Please.
Now I'm in District 3, right? I'm in District 3. I don't know about none of all this. That ain't why I live on District 3. My street got potholes big as Texas.
Question.
Right now.
Question.
Now we have a conflict. I got a conflict of interest for real. Because I know about this money that go around, this spending activity that you get, that you don't take care of us, but you sure take care of North Richmond. Like you say, you feed 500, I don't see you giving me none of them vegetables, and I feed them every Friday. I'm gonna keep it 100. See, I keep mine 100. The question is, what have you done for the South Side lately?
Thank you. So who is that question for? The whole panel? Whole panel. So who would love, excuse us. Who would love to answer the question first?
If I'm not mistaken, I think that question was directed to the current District 3 council member. If I'm not mistaken, Antoine, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Is that addressed to Ms. Robinson, sir?
All right, so how many seconds do I have?
You got 45 seconds.
All right.
Hold on 1 second. Does anyone else want to answer his question? You got a minute. Okay. Go ahead. You got a minute.
All right, so thank you for the question. One, when I came into office, we only had $3 million allocated towards roads. Today, it's $10 million. I'm not the one that makes the routes of where we're doing things, where the crew is out there, but I can tell you, I was the one who voted to add $7 million to it so we could do more work. Carlson Boulevard, lights, solar lights. We got it done for the South Side. Booker T. Anderson, when they needed more money, I voted. Not only did I vote, but I went and I brought the Recreation Committee to Booker T. Anderson to see why it was taking so long. And they turned up that they actually needed more money, and that was what was the problem was. We brought it back to City Council, and we added more money to it, and we got that done. Miraflores, developer was totally, excuse my language, bullshitting everybody for 10 years. And I stepped in, brought them to the table, made them tell the truth about what they were doing, and got them out. I can keep going.
Ms. Gallup?
So I can say mine is not just for the South Side, and what I do probably wouldn't impact you, but it's more so family that have children. I've been providing resources for them ever since I've been around. Christmas during the holiday times, providing Christmas for them, providing trips and stuff for them. So making sure that the family has what they need in order to heal as a family unit is what I've been doing, not just for the South Side of Richmond, but for anyone that signed up for the services in Richmond.
I have a question.
Is there anybody else who have a
For
question?
free.
Yes.
Hold
Hold on 1 second. Were you finished? Were you finished?
Yes.
Okay. Here and then here.
I have a question. Oh, okay.
You next.
I just got some bad news. I found out that my young cousin was found in a homeless camp and just died. Now, I'm sitting at this meeting and I'm looking. I do watch the city council, online, whatever. The biggest problem I see, city council don't get along with each other. All y'all do is argue about the RPA and the non-RPA. This is a big city, but this city has a small-time mentality. I sat on the Economic Development Commission. I come from a tech background. For a whole year, I have said, we need to bring Facebook, Google, Apple to Richmond, because this is a hidden jewel where they can start a hub in the city to hire people. But no, what they did was do a wine event at the port. How does that help anybody in the city? All you guys do is argue with each other. You're not here for the people.
Okay, thank you. So then, who's
So how can you fix the problem with you guys working together to help us?
Thank you.
Because we can't help you. We put you in office and you lie.
Thank you, sis. We're finna get your
So
question.
fix it.
We're about to get your question answered. Thank you. So,
That's the question.
thank you.
How do you fix the problem on the city council with y'all?
Who would love to answer that question first?
I would
45 seconds.
make it about the people. I feel like now everybody has their own agenda and we're not making it about the people. When you make it about the people and you remember your why, you can never go wrong. We sit here, we argue, but we're arguing about our own agenda because we promised people certain things, so now we have to deliver to the people that we promised things to, instead of remembering that we represent the whole Richmond. Even though you're in that one district, we're here representing all of Richmond, because when you're voting for all of Richmond. So we have to remember, we're here for the people. There you go.
I'd also like to say that if anybody's seen any of my ads or anything that I've said, it's talk about Richmond as one. Not a zip code, not where you are, who you are, but stepping up and stepping in. That may be a city manager run city, but the leadership starts at the top. Being able to work with people, to engage with people, means you have to come and be with the people and reflect that, and not only in what you say, but your behavior and your actions. When you have that type of leadership, then you can begin to unify and move the city forward together.
I actually have a history and reputation of reaching across the aisle. So much so that it has got me in trouble with a few individuals here in the city of Richmond. My political philosophy is no one group or one individual has the know-all or can dominate everybody. We have to figure out how to work together. When I become the mayor, there are going to be RPA members on the council. And my job is to work with those individuals, just like I did when I was a council member before. We may not agree on everything, but the goal is to find the things that we do agree on and get things done for the people of Richmond. I think for a long time we've had people in office who want to do this RPA versus not. From the moment in 2018 when Brandon Evans ran my campaign, I said that I would not participate in the Richmond Civil War, and I have not. I've only held people accountable.
Thank you. Gloria?
So I want to say thank you for your question, and I want to also say that I agree. The port shouldn't have the main and the only thing happening is a wine club, and they currently doesn't exist today. That was one of the things that we did, mostly because they were not paying the rent, and they felt like they had a right to be there without paying the rent, which I disagree with. And you know what the port does have? It has OpenAI. 700 jobs. So I'm just saying.
Brandon, then Shane.
We need to get rid of the RPA supermajority. That's it, that's all. If we want a city council that is open-minded, that is willing to work across the aisle, that is receptive and responsive to community, we need to get rid of the RPA supermajority that currently has controlled our council for the last 2 decades. Wake up, Richmond. It's over.
Jamin, and then Claudia.
We need to I think we're working with one now.
I agree with you that we need to have stability within our city council, and it has to be not just when they're on the dais, but it has to be when they're off the dais, when they're out in the streets and when they're working with staff. They need to be able to treat people with respect, because they are not They do not work under you. They are your colleagues at best. And really, if anything, you are there to serve them. And so I want to make sure that people know that there is division up on the city council, but it usually comes from people who don't know what they're doing when they're up there. And because they don't know what's going on is why they start picking and making fights and stuff. I will also say I agree with you that we need to make sure that our economic development is trying to support people, which is one of the, so I'm currently on the economic development, and I'm really hopeful to try and keep pushing for buy local.
Time. Thank you.
I just wanted to say that, yes, we have disagreement, but usually the things that we have been able to move with a majority or more than majority. Important things like putting $10 million into parks, it went majority. Accepting the $550 million, it went majority. Putting $1.5 million into the Black Resilient Project, one majority. Putting $1 million to support immigrants went by majority. So a lot of the policies went by majority, and I think it's because what we are bringing to the city council is something that the community deeply cares about, and this is what we are about.
Time. Thank you. So we have a question. One more. Come on. Oh.
Yes, my name is Kokoye Sande, and my question is this, and it's kind of on the same level that she was talking about. I've attended city council meetings, and you all go on ad nauseum. As a Richmond resident who's interested in stuff like this, can't you all figure out how to say you're going to have maybe a 3-hour meeting, excuse me, and make it a 3-hour meeting? I have not attended one meeting where I've been able to listen to the whole meeting because, I mean, who has 5 hours to sit there? Can you do better than that? And I'm asking those of you who are already on the council and those of you who want to be elected.
The residents and the community have spoken.
Since I had the mic, can I go?
Come on. You got it.
Thank you so much, and I agree, like sometimes these meetings are too long, a lot of times. So, and we have been trying to make rules. For instance, we cannot go past 11 p.m. Sometimes it's because there are so many issues that the residents show up, and like for instance, Kids First initiative. It were over 100 kids there making public comments, 2 minutes public comments. So that is sense, and I feel like in that sense, I don't want to quiet anybody. Everybody needs to make sure that they speak up. I said that sometimes the issues are really heated, and or us feel like they need to make the comments. But I agree, and I promise to.
All right. Thank you.
Got you filmed on that.
No, thank you, Don, and please play that back, because one thing you can never do is trust somebody who's already perpetrating the issue. So for me, once again, it's a policy question. What policies are in place to prevent these meetings from going over? How are these meetings structured that allow certain items to get on the agenda that will extend the meeting past 12 o'clock? These are things that we had. Look, one of my mentors, Irma Anderson, she once said, how you gonna run a meeting you've never been a part of? Well, I like to build on that. How you gonna run a meeting when you don't know how to run a meeting? You don't know the rules. And that's what we've been seeing. I literally was on the dais for a forum and saw a cheat sheet for Robert Rules of Order. And I'm like, if we don't have individuals who are dedicated to learning the policies and the rules that govern city council meetings, it's gonna be helter-skelter every time.
Thank you. Jared?
Well, one, I would say that, so we use Rosenberg's rules of order. So that's why it looks like a cheat sheet, because it's supposed to be real quick and easy. It's supposed to make it fast. But as well, I will say that we
only 6 pages.
Don't need to necessarily have to make a comment on everything, because when there are things that people do agree on, we understand you've got good values. We get it. We don't need to have a 2-minute speech about it. And I think we can just let it keep going. I think when there are more contested issues, We need to be more thoughtful about how the agenda is structured to be able to make sure that we are addressing all of the city's business, and then we can have these discussions and not try to run out the clock.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We have a community member. Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, if we focused on Richmond business more, we can actually get through with the city council meeting and making sure that everybody has the proper training to actually how to navigate the meeting so that it doesn't run over.
That training piece.
I think the other part of it is that from those who either have been to the city council meetings or watch it on television, find that it's sometimes that our council members seem ill-prepared. That they're operating in the moment and asking questions they should have asked of staff prior to coming to the meeting. And then having the communication that you talked about, engaging one another behind the scenes so it doesn't seem like it's Battleship Galactica right there in the midst, which is a time is money and money is business, and the business should be focused on the people and addressing the issues that are right there in the city of Richmond.
Thank you. We have one more committee member, council member, excuse me, Dory Robinson. And then, here you go, Dory, here you go. Here you go.
All right. So quickly, I agree. This is my first term on city council. I have not been a political operative, just a resident here for all these years doing what I do. What I see is there's a few things that we can do to make these meetings smaller. I think we should have separate meetings for acknowledgements and things like that so that we can properly give people their time to celebrate them when we bring people together to celebrate them and not try to stuff them into two minutes. I think they should be a separate meeting. I think that we should have actually, so right now, only the city manager and the mayor are involved in creating the agenda. We have no idea what's going to be on the agenda until Thursday night. And then that's it. We have no say in it. We have no ability to change, no ability to say what's going to be on, what's not going to be on. I think that we need to have a lot more transparency and get a vision ahead of time so we know what's going to be up, and we should have more say so we can limit and really control the amount of time that we take in meetings.
Thank you so much. We got two people. First.
Hi everybody. Thank you all for showing up. This is for District 3 and the mayor, who's running for mayor. So what I've heard today is that you all go door knocking and spread information and give resources. That's not true. I've been an active parent and community advocate here in Richmond, where I also grew up. I have been living in my community in District 3 for 28, almost 29 years. Not one time have I seen a city council or mayor come out and support the residents with continued issues or problems we as residents have. It shouldn't take me as the residents to come to you as a council or mayor to get these things done. So what are you all going to do to stay involved with the people who voted you in your seat and continue to get things done and show up? And when things get tough and when us as residents have reached our breaking point.
Thank you. Who would love to answer that? Thank you. Sorry, disagree.
Yeah, I think that's where having relationships with community members is important. Me and Miss Juanita actually go back to 2015, 2016, Miss Juanita, when we met. She had a young man who was graduating from high school who needed help with his FAFSA. I had never helped someone with a FAFSA except myself. And we were able to get his FAFSA done. He's now obtained his master's degree and is teaching. I mean, relationships are important, and that's how you show up for people. Yeah, it's okay to say, I'm here and I want your vote during the election cycle, but how do you show up for people after that? Just to touch on being in Pullman Point, the townhouses, I was there earlier this week. So if you live there, you probably got a flyer on your door. I walked that neighborhood with two young men who are in one of the city's programs, talking to neighbors, passing out information. That's what I'll be doing.
Thank you.
So I'm sorry we have not actually met out in the streets, but I have been knocking on doors and I do talk to people. I have some of my canvassers here tonight. Carolyn lives on South 27th Street, has been knocking on doors, walking these precincts with me right now, but not only right now, but for the last 3 years. I can look out into the audience and see neighborhood council members who I've been talking to and in relationship with, and they call me and they ask me about all the different things that they're having troubles with, and I've been showing up for them consistently, not just now, but actually throughout the whole 3 years. I didn't just start going to neighborhood council meetings. I've been consistent and bringing the issues to council, checking out, trying to find information when people say, you know, what about this tower and what about this thing? So I have been consistent. Maybe I didn't get to every 8,000 people, but I can do better and I can keep doing better.
As a first-time candidate for this district, I would agree with you that I hear a lot where people say they don't actually see their representatives. I am, of course, committed to actually going to the people as I've been doing throughout my campaign. Of course, I've never seen you. My campaign is pretty small, so it's only me going out door to door, so I'm still getting there. Hopefully I get to meet you, one of these days as I continue my campaign, but yeah, just to let you know, and everyone here, as a matter of fact, I am committed to actually going out and meeting with the people themselves, as I previously mentioned, whether that's at their door or whether that's actually at a little structured meeting. So, yeah.
Okay. We have 2 more questions.
She wanted the mayor.
Oh, for the mayor.
It's all good. It's getting pretty late. I understand. Miss Juanita, just going back to I graduated from Howard University in 2015. The first thing I did was move right back to Richmond and get involved in the city. So whether that was driving kids to San Francisco to Alive and Free with Brandon Evans, and stand out there until midnight, making sure that they have services, or door knocking in communities where individuals have never seen a candidate, let alone a city council member. Whether that's the Barretts, the St. John's Apartments, Iron Triangle, places where I grew up in Kennedy Manor. Some people up here can't even tell you where that's at. And so for me, it's about touching those neighborhoods and being in those neighborhoods that people have always forgotten about, the neighborhoods that I grew up in. And so that's why I'm out in those, please excuse me, I have a bit of a cold. But that's what it's always been about for me, is being out there in the streets. And whether that was working with Ms. Delon when she was just a parent, working with 100 Years when they first got started, whether I'm on the council or off the council, I'm doing the work.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank you. I moved here in 2009, and I just got there to work to renovate the Solano Playland, a little neighborhood park with the moms. Then after that, I became a community organizer, and I started working with Tamisha Walker and many communities in the faith communities here. In my campaigns that I had run, I had been able to reach people, not all of them, but because it's not just about me. This is like what I am going to say is, I cannot do this by myself, and this is what I am so grateful that many community members are with me in this campaign.
Thank you.
Literally all my life, probably been involved in politics before I was politics, have been mother and father who served as city council and mayor. But what did Ahmad do? At the age of 23, worked for Jim McMillan, who ran for city council here. We established our first police commission because he was harassed by the police. Ahmad then went on to become youngest NAACP member, vice president, working in the community, knocking on doors, getting people out there to vote. Been on your Economic Development Commission, worked for UPS to bring jobs from employment training so people could become package handlers and become drivers. I've been involved in this city since day one in this city. I continue to show up at your neighborhood councils, either in Zoom or in person. I continue to be a block captain to the Office of Neighborhood Safety, meeting with other block captains to find out what's going on in their communities and how we can work together to save communities from ourselves at times. And 100 years, I grew up with some of these cats. My guy there, grew up with him, know him. When he wasn't here, he was still here because I was here fighting for him, being part of workforce development and being part of the Child Care Council and Youth Service Bureau.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. We have 2 more questions. 1 and 2. Come on. No, she behind. She was first, and then you second. And then third. 1, 2, I got you too. I ain't forgot about you.
Just really quick. I hear, I grew up in Richmond, actually grew up right across the street from my mom. But I hear all of the candidates talking about what they do, and that's wonderful, you know, knocking on the doors and all of that. My question is coming from a teacher's perspective. What are some strategies that that you may have thought of or can think of that are maybe outside of the box that will get more people engaged and where we don't have, because you're doing all of that, but what we're hearing is that people aren't seeing it. They're not. So thinking outside of the box. We got AI, we got Zoom, we got all this stuff. There has to be some other strategies where we can get more people who feel like they're being heard and engaged.
I guess we can, well, I'm gonna say for me, and I've been going to city council. I feel like when the city council have their events, they exclude all the grassroots. Start bringing your grassroots.
Just 1 second. For the sake of time, we're going to make everyone got 30 seconds. That's all. Keep going. For everybody. The rest of me good or what? You sure? Okay, keep going. 45 seconds, get it done.
Start bringing your resources together so that the organizations that know people in a certain area, you come together where you get to meet all the people. And you start getting the people engaged, because the people that work with me or volunteer with me is more willing to, you know, to navigate and start working with the other community. My goal has always been to bring the whole community together. I've been having conversations with different organizations, but again, the powers that be, city council, didn't want that because they have more to gain from it than bringing us all together.
Nat, I'm in a candidate forum right now. I'm going to call you back later.
I'll just be real quick. The way that we have to make sure we get people engaged is that we have to get them registered to actually vote. We need to make sure that we are actually educating them on their civil responsibilities. As a citizen, they are responsible to show up and be able to vote, and it is our responsibility to reach them. And I believe that we should be using every technology out there, as well as meeting people where they are. You gotta meet them where they are, but you also have to make sure you're setting up every single opportunity for people to engage. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, I already mentioned about first 100 days, making sure we get reports from each district, going to those districts, meeting with the community, getting the feedback. But in addition to that, we talk about being a teacher. We should have better liaison programs, so we don't have programs that happen like Stige. They're having an event right now talking about Stige over on the East Shore, and Community Anderson. That liaison program is the future of our city. If you're having a conversation, talk about how that aligns and overlaps with what we should be doing for the communities, like Kids First. How are we representing the kids in those programs? Are they getting the services that we need? And then talk about how we can support working families accordingly. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I think we need to create more spaces and more things for the community to be gathered. And I think like COVID changed a lot of that, and we need to bring back that. This is why having a downtown that really is a downtown is really important. Having spaces that really gather the community, and not only gather for seeing us talking, but also gather the community to build more community. Because I believe what we can do is the cultural exchange that makes us to really love each other and to understand where we are coming from, what are our interests, and then creating this work together. Because this is what we need, to work together. Thank you.
We gotta stay in the community. It's as simple as that. Like door knocking, town halls, house parties, that should not end with the campaign. That should, especially as a mayor, my goal is to make sure that I'm always in somebody's home. I'm always in the housing communities and then knocking on doors and letting people know what's going on. I think a lot of times we do these things during the campaign and then we drop off. But this is a very sound engagement strategy. You get what I'm saying? And so for me, we can ask people to vote, we can ask people to show up to city council meetings, but if we're not talking to folks and figuring out what it is that they want, then it's a moot point. You get what I'm saying? Like, we have to be willing to go into communities the proper way. There's a proper way to enter a space, be in a space, and leave a space. And if we don't have leadership that knows that, then we're never going to have leadership that engages the spaces.
We got 2 more questions. Once y'all finish. No, wait. It's coming.
Oh, no, I think it was just...
Come on. Who next?
So of course, a good way to actually make people believe in the city hall is actually going out to them, as most of the candidates have actually mentioned. One thing I want to iterate on is door knocking is a good tactic, but someone will not always answer their door. So holding other community events, as I mentioned, making it more accessible, whether it's in person or online, can actually help. And actually doing what the people actually want will actually make the people believe in the city hall that they have. Right now, most people don't want to vote. I've learned that a lot as part of my campaign. And, well, my time is up, sorry.
Gotta get it in and get it out.
So, communications and the lack thereof has been a big issue for me. When I realized the city of Richmond only has one employee that's dedicated to communications and he's a junior employee, I was like, this is ridiculous. We need a whole communications team to help everyone in the city know what's going on in the city. There's so many things, even just when you go to the city, the person who gives you information about where to go to what department to answer your question is the security guard. That is a problem. That aside, you know, there's no resources for city council members once you get elected in order to do communications and outreach. That's a big reason why some of that drop off happens. So if there were resources that were dedicated for town halls, for communications, for things like that, it would be a huge help to making sure that we can keep communicating.
Yeah, I'll just say quickly, first you can't be afraid of your community, right? You gotta be willing to go to every neighborhood in Richmond and feel comfortable and safe engaging with folks. I think relationship building is a part of that. Meeting people where they are is a part of it. Sometimes that's on a corner, that's at the bus stop, that's in line at the check cashing. Like having authentic conversations and just informing people. I think Singh mentioned it, a lot of African-American community members, younger, my age group, and our Hispanic and Latino community members, they aren't engaged politically. They don't know what's going on. They don't care to get involved, right? So I think the trusted messenger is an important part. I'll end with that. Thank you.
Thank you. We got to make this real fast, everybody, because our time is up.
Okay. Hi everyone, my name is Brenda Rios. I'm here since 2010. I'm immigrant. I'm Hispanic Latino. I think I represent our community here. So my question is, if you have to focus on just one priority change during your first 100 days in office, what would it be and why? Just one.
I'll start, and I'll be quick. I will focus on investing in capacity in our employment and training department. The number one issue that I hear when I'm in the community is that people need employment. And when you talk about employment, you say, hey, well, I can help find you a job. No, we need to help find people careers. So we need to create infrastructure that supports high-skill manufacturing certification, workforce certifications, and as well as opportunities for our young people to be employed, to keep them occupied and out of trouble. Thank you.
For me, I think we need to focus a lot more on economic development. I think we need to focus on it by drawing together and pulling in the larger organizations that can take advantage of our warehouse district and all of the assets that we have, the deep water port, the trains, all that stuff, but we also need to focus on our small businesses. One of the things I'm really proud of is fighting for the ARPA money in order to make sure that we had funds in ARPA for the small businesses. And I think we need to do much, much more than that. If we don't have an economy that's driving, we won't have jobs. We won't attract the businesses. We won't whatever. We need to invest and tell a new story about Richmond.
I think I would focus on stronger engagement with the people, because I can only know what I'm supposed to do if the people actually tell me what they want.
Excellent.
Great.
Quality of life. Making sure that when people step outside of their door, that they see grass that is cut, they see non-blighted areas, that smell, that stench of urine and feces is gone. We can talk about investment, but we can't attract outside investment until we invest in ourselves.
All right.
And I think that is something, when Richmond people, go to the park, they shouldn't have to cross town to go to a park that they think is a better park. or to go to a different store because they think it's a better store. I want to make sure that everybody enjoys the neighborhood that they live in here in the city of Richmond. Making sure, there was a comment about we can't do anything about pavement improvement. I literally proposed a policy and the whole council voted on it to get an equity pavement improvement plan in place. So that way, all of the neighborhoods that have been forgotten about can be taken care of. So quality of life issues and making sure that we propose radical policies to address them.
Thank you. I think we have to address housing, and housing for the zero income to other levels. We need to address the unhoused issue that we have here to bring more housing and to have that opportunity. Because also, as we said, one of the revenues that we get is from property taxes. So you say that. Thank you, and I am repeating it. So one of the things, and this is why I am saying that housing is an issue, and we have to have this McDonald Avenue and the downtown really vibrant for all community with housing and small businesses, and the housing is going to support small businesses.
So the priority is a public health issue. Public health is being sure you feel safe, protected, and secure in your community and respected. That leads to making sure that your businesses can grow, that we don't have property damage, we don't have property theft, we don't have assaults, so businesses are retained that will encourage other businesses to come. Working on building the workforce development, having a workforce skills training program, so that if you have an open AI who comes here, you have the training for that. So they're not just jobs there, but you can hire folks here. And then housing, which is a public issue. It's a privilege, it's a right. Not just affordable, but reasonable. And so if you have safety, you're able to maintain businesses, but to attract businesses, as they've done in Oakland and San Francisco, to increase that opportunity and improve the quality of life.
So for me, it would be public safety. And I would say everything goes hand in hand, because once you get your economic development plan together, you start getting the jobs to the people, you reduce your crime rate, because now you have more stable people. And when you do that, you have more healthier people. So just making sure we have a plan in place to actually start taking off and navigating to get everyone engaged, to actually getting the community on track.
I feel like I heard it was first 100 days, not everything you're going to be able to accomplish in your entire term. So I'm just saying the first 100 days, the first thing is I want to make sure that people know about all the opportunities that we have in Richmond, because we do offer a lot of services, we do offer a lot of things, and most people just don't know about them because they're not having good communication about what those services are and how to take advantage of them. We have the ability to reduce illegal dumping because we have pickups at our houses, and this extends to renters. We need to make sure that we are engaging on their level and getting it out there as best as possible, and then we can handle all the other stuff that we're going to have for the other 4 years.
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen, I know it's been great, but we have to close. We have another, wait till 8 o'clock, we went over their time. But I want to thank the candidates that came, and I guess you all can just say maybe 10 seconds, 15 minutes to close. Each candidate, just be your ending part.
I'll make it real quick. My name is Jim Purcell. I'm running for District 4, and if you want to see change in the City Council, you need to make sure that you're putting in the right people. So please, vote Jamin, District 4. Thank you.
My name is Keisha Gallen. I've been boots on the ground doing the work. If you want to create change and be a part of the change, vote Keisha Gallen. District 4.
Ahmad Anderson running for mayor in your city, in our city. Your voice, our actions collectively, they matter. Step up and step in, Richmond. Time is now.
All right. Claudia Jimenez, vote for Claudia Jimenez for Richmond mayor. I had been proven that I had done things for Richmond, and I will continue to do that with all of you. Thank you.
Once again, my name is Dimples Johnson III, and I'm running to be your mayor here in the city of Richmond. Fourth generation Richmond resident, been fighting for you. all my adulthood at this point, and I want to continue to fight for you. So on June 2nd, please make sure you mark your ballot. Demlis Johnson III for mayor. Thank you for your time.
For an everyday resident perspective, make sure to write in Manmeet Singh for District 3. Thank you.
Doria Robinson for District 3. I want to continue to fight for you. I want to continue to show up for you, and I want to continue to win for you, because that's what I've been doing these last 3 years. Please look at my record and don't let other people define me for you. Because if you look at my record, you will see I have been fighting and I have been winning for you.
And I'm Brandon Evans, the son of the South Side. South Sides is my heart. I am District 3. Vote Evans for City Council on June 2nd. Thank you.
Absolutely. And again, thank you all for coming out. For the people, be by the people. Tell everyone who you know who wasn't here to get out and vote. Voices here were heard, but enough wasn't heard. We need more, and thank you all the candidates for coming tonight. Thank you all for coming tonight. And, hey, stay pushing for the people. Stay going for the people. Thank you.
Before you scatter, can we get a group photo, please?